not Von Miller of 5 years ago, right? This isn't Odell Beckham of his rookie year, right? Or whatever, the catch year, or whatever it might be. Guys are on the market or traded for a reason, right? If they were in their prime, no way does Denver let Von Miller go. Cleveland doesn't let Odell Beckham go if he's productive and he's doing what he's supposed to do in Cleveland. So we got to be honest about what we're actually getting.
This is Big Man Bets with the 7-time Pro Bowler, participant in the incident, which he's been speaking about recently, our leader, our storyteller, our center, our New York Jet, Nick Mangold, and our co-leader, I should say, the left tackle, the pride and joy of Sandusky, Ohio, Hall of Famer, greatest show on turf, and believer in the Rams still, I think, Orlando Pace. Gentlemen, week 11, and we're going hyperbolic to start here. Cam Newton is back. He's busting in from second and goal from the 2. He's throwing touchdown passes. The Panthers are winning games. The ticket prices in Carolina are going through the roof. Everyone's happy that Cam is back. Let's just go crazy here. The Carolina Panthers go on a run. They win out. Can Cam get himself in the MVP conversation? Because this year is completely crazy, and we've seen Brady go up and down. We see all your Patrick Mahomes go up and down, the whole thing. Kyler Murray too. Nick, what do you think about this story emanating from Carolina?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a feel-good story. I like the coach's press conference when he came out. It was like, it was a business decision, and or football and everything. And he looked awkward saying that. So I can only imagine the conversations that were had in the locker room and the meeting rooms. But it seemed to work out. And I mean, hypothetically, if they were to go on a run and they went out and go deep into the playoffs, how could you not put Cam in that conversation? I mean, obviously he coming into a team and taking them to a playoff berth out of nowhere would seem like you're pretty valuable.
Yeah, I think it's a great feel-good story week 1, but we've all watched Cam play over the past couple of years. So if it happens, obviously you would have to talk about how that run, it has been incredible, but it's not necessarily because of what Cam would actually do. It's only because the race is still wide open. There's no clear-cut favorite. So right now, obviously nobody's running away with the MVP race because every week somebody's either getting beat or not playing well or whatever it might be. So it's wide open. So if he goes on an 8-game winning streak and plays like the 2015 Cam Newton, why not throw him in there, see what he does? He could possibly win the MVP. So yes, I'm jumping on that outlandish story, but the reality will set in. The feel-good story probably be going in a couple weeks.
3 carries for 14 yards plus the touchdown. He was 3 of 4 on his passes for 8 yards and his other touchdown. And that's right, Big Man Bets is throwing Cam in the MVP conversation because, like we're saying, the up and down roller coaster has been going on here. I mean, Matthew Stafford at one point was a MVP candidate, and the Rams have looked terrible the last 2 weeks. When you look at overall, and we're going to get to parity later in the show, but when you look at the performances going on just across at the top here, does anybody look like they're about to right the ship here and play steady the rest of the way? Maybe Patrick Mahomes at the top of that list, Nick?
Yeah, I mean, he did look good this past week against the Raiders. So, maybe he's coming back into form, finding that midseason stride and hitting it. I'm just intrigued, like when we're talking about the MVP and, we talk about the votes and everything, has anyone ever won it without getting a majority of the votes? Like, was it so split that you got the most votes, but you didn't get the majority of votes? Because right now, I mean, the ball is in the air. It could be Kyler Murray, could be Aaron Rodgers, could be Patrick Mahomes. Could be Tom Brady. Josh Allen's still somewhere in there if they keep going strong. Like, there's so many options. I just don't see how you can say, all right, this guy, it has the majority of votes. Say, yeah, he was the most valuable player of the league. And it's crazy that we have this type of season where we're having that, because it's actually been, I mean, it's been tough for betting, but as far as like fan and seeing, teams lose and win left and right, it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, I agree. I think it has been a lot of fun to watch. Just the young quarterbacks, what they were able to do. But these old guys, and nobody's talking. We hadn't talked about Aaron Rodgers, who's just quietly. Obviously, he had to pick up with the COVID mishap, but he's playing. He's going to be playing good football moving forward. They have a solid defense. If they can get, and nobody wants to get this past them more than Aaron does. So I'm sure he's going to go out, hairs on fire to try to his play. Try to distance himself from what happened midseason.
So Patrick Mahomes, specifically Orlando, Chiefs put up 41, season high 516 total yards. For Patrick, it was his first 400-yard performance since Week 11 of 2020. Great win against the Raiders. Chiefs obviously back in there. They didn't allow a single sack. I know you guys can certainly you give credit to the O-line, but the quarterback's a part of that, making good decisions. Do you see Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs offense back at full stride, or are we going too far just after 1 week?
No, I think they played well. I think if you're a football fan or if you analyze the game, they have enough talent on that offense at some point during the season. Going to look like they did the other night against the Raiders because they just have too much talent. And Patrick Mahomes is too talented of a player to go, 16, 17 weeks and stink up the joint. So at some point, and I think he said it in a lot of his pressers, they're going to get it together. They've been there. They have confidence. And I've been on teams like that where we had a ton of talent. And we just knew at some point during the season, we're going to pull it together. Obviously he had some interceptions throughout the year where guys were dropping the ball and just some careless turnovers. Those are all things that they can clean up with a veteran team. So I think they're headed in the right direction. That was a big win for them. And again, the league hasn't done a whole lot in terms of nobody's jumped out in the AFC and said, "Hey, this is our race." So I think they still have a shot moving forward.
Yeah, I look at, I saw the game going the other way with the Raiders. I thought the Chiefs were down, and I thought the Raiders were going to be be back at home and, kind of get that life. And I was completely wrong. And so I hope that for the sake of Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, that's kind of their jumping off point where, they hit their midseason stride. They're like, all right, this is what we can be. We just need to keep doing it. I think I was also impressed with their defense. So if their defense is able to play well and keep Patrick Mahomes from having to say in his head, "Hey, I have to go win this," not just like, "Hey, I want to go win this." I think that's what was kind of hurting him early on. But yeah, I think he's got so much talent. Like it really is incredible to watch him play. And they have so many weapons too. And so getting those guys going again, I think we count them out, especially since they rarely cover the spread. But they are still a good football team, and they're just. I hope that they're finding their way.
So I hate to do this to you, Nick, but is the New England Football Patriots, is that your least favorite NFL team to discuss? Just out of curiosity.
No, I don't mind discussing them. I don't like them, but I don't mind talking about them.
Well, Vegas does not really believe in the Patriots right now. If you go to WinBet and look at the odds of the Patriots winning the Super Bowl, despite their 4 wins in a row, they're plus 3,000. But they got their running game going, 140 plus in 4 straight games. The defense has been solid. Judon is 4th in the NFL in sacks. He's Dante Hightower's playing great. They're 6-4. They got the Bills twice. They're going to meet them in week 14 and 16. I mean, are we willing to say the Mac Jones, Bill Belichick, Tom Brady gone Patriots are a legit Super Bowl contender, or even contender to win the division? How are you looking at the Patriots, Nick?
I'm still looking at the Bills being in the division. The Bills seem to be they go well, have a letdown game, and then go well, letdown game. So they kind of are going that path, and I just don't see. New England's doing the right way. They're playing great defense. They're running the ball, and they're allowing Mac Jones just to kind of be the game manager, where he doesn't have to go out and win the game for him. He just has to make the short passes that keeps the ball moving and clock control and all that stuff, all the stuff that Bill, has always been about. And I don't see a rookie quarterback being able to take him to the promised land after being with a rookie quarterback and making it to the AFC Championship. There's so many hurdles you have to get through to get to that point. Now, they are a lot further ahead than we were. But again, like I see why they're still holding back, because the pressure of getting to a Super Bowl with a rookie quarterback is huge.
Yeah, I agree. I think Vegas understands that too. But in the next, 2 games against the Buffalo Bills, when they play, that'll tell us a lot about what type of team they are. People have been talking about Buffalo since last year in terms of being a Super Bowl team. So how he performs or how they perform in those 2 games will tell us a lot. And I'm sure those odds will change if they come out and get a victory against the Buffalo Bills. But they really have the formula to really make a run. If you can run the ball and play good defense, you got a shot in the playoffs. And I think that's one thing that and plus with that coaching staff with Bill and the experience that they have on that staff, they always have a chance. It's just that one caveat is the rookie quarterback. Can he perform in those pressure situations? Just my take on the playoffs. Obviously it's always been a veteran. You have the experience of quarterbacks once you get in the playoffs, and the Patriots don't have that now, although he's having a great season so far.
So maybe we can get some serious Jets nerves going on right now. I mean, Zach Wilson's battling injuries here, Nick, but Mac Jones looks very capable. Let's say it like that. Would you trade Wilson for Jones right now?
I would say at this exact moment, no. Well, yes, because Zach's hurt, so I'd rather a healthy quarterback. But no, I think right now what we're doing is I think Zach has fantastic upside. I think it's just getting settled in and figuring out this offense and seeing what they can do. I mean, you look at Mike White comes in and goes off against the Bengals. So the offense is there. It's just trying to figure out how to tailor it and get it going for them. And so it's one of those things where we've been going through this thing with rookie quarterbacks for so long with the Jets, with Sam Darnold. We did it with Geno, and you just keep going down the list. And now exactly, they're never put in a great position to succeed. Like Mac Jones is in a great position to succeed. They have a fantastic defense. They're running the ball. Their offensive line is playing well. And so when you do that, that obviously you get success out of it. So I would love to see what happens when Zach comes back, see some, positive, see improvement. And then, going into this offseason, which stinks that we're here before Thanksgiving talking about the offseason, really solidify what we're doing and figure out, all right, here's his strengths, here's his weaknesses. Let's build up this offensive line. Let's get them together, get them working together, and, put him in a position to succeed.
Are we downplaying Mac Jones here too much, Orlando? I mean, if this was Trevor putting up these numbers, we'd be like, this dude's going to be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I think because the system that he's in New England, the coaching staff that he has, the development that he has, I think we can put anybody in that system and they have success, right? Now, if he's having this type of success in Jacksonville, like Trevor Lawrence, I mean, and that type of thing, we'll be saying he's the next coming of Peyton Manning or, whoever at that age. But the fact that he's in that system and everybody kind of knows the Patriot way in terms of how they develop quarterbacks, how they surround them with not great talent, but at least they have a system of playing, running the ball and not putting too much on the quarterback, and they're not trying to take deep shots down the field all the time. He doesn't have a ton of talent at receiver, but they just put him in situations where he understands the system. Obviously, if he was a bigger name, well, he went to Alabama, so but he's a smart kid. But if that was Trevor Lawrence having this type of success with 6 wins in the National Football League, we'll be saying that he would be in an MVP race.
Trey Lance, Justin Fields, Bears, Niners, Jets. They're not going to regret this one, huh, Nick? I don't know.
No, I don't know. I mean, because like we said, if he was doing this in San Fran, if he was doing it in Jacksonville, if he was doing it with the Bears, we would all be saying that because of the organizations and everything they've gone through. I think we're so ingrained that the Patriots are just going to be at the top of the AFC East and the AFC every year. We just kind of expect it. And so it's not one of those things where it's like, oh, we're blown away with it. It's just, and you look at I look at Josh McDaniels, he's a fantastic offensive coordinator. He doesn't get to, everyone always talks about Belichick being, the guru there, but Josh is working hand in hand as well. And so he's just got a great system around him. And so like Orlando said, I mean, I don't think it could be anybody plug and play, but I think most quarterbacks that will go there, you'll find success out of it that are willing to do the work. Because when you look at New England games, especially on offense, you rarely see mistakes. You rarely see missed assignments. And that's a coaching and that's an accountability thing that is just ingrained into the New England Patriots, where guys know what to do. They're in their books. They know, because they know that, if they mess up, Bill's going to be down their throat. And so it's just, that's part of the culture. And I think that's why we can say you can almost plug and play and still find, some success.
Well, just look at the other rookie quarterbacks, for example. You got Wilson in New York, rookie head coach, right? You got Trevor Lawrence in Jacksonville, rookie head coach. You have Matt Nagy in Chicago with Justin Fields, dead man walking. He's not going to be there much longer. So when you look at the situation that these kids, these young quarterbacks are in, they're not really in ideal situations. Mac Jones is probably the only guy that's in that situation where, he has a stable coaching staff and a stable offensive coordinator that knows how to develop talent. Not to mention out in San Francisco with Trey Lance, Jimmy Garoppolo's out there that's playing. So they got a little cushion with that guy. So these other quarterbacks just aren't in great situations to really have a ton of success in year one.
Big Man Bets does. We give you the just give time a chance here, and we'll see how this whole thing shakes out. Hey, Orlando, what's up with the Rams? Running straight at 7-1 now. Two back-to-back weeks where they're getting blown out, borderline surprisingly. The Titans without Henry, 28-16. They get smoked by the Niners, 31-10. Can't protect the quarterback, and the quarterback doesn't look particularly good. You worried about your Rams?
You know what? I am a little worried. I hate to say it was a good loss, but everybody last week was talking about, hey, we're Super Bowl bound. We have a ton. Now, we look great on paper. We look awesome on paper. We got some big names, typically the LA way, just having big star players. But we got to go out and perform. We just can't roll our helmet out on the field and expect to get a win. Our quarterback play needs to be better. The turnovers early on put us in a hole 2 weeks in a row. And he's been playing phenomenal up until then, but we're not running the ball. We normally have success offensively when we're running the ball, and then everything else is play action after that. And then defensively, which that's a little more concerning, going into the game against San Francisco, everybody knew they were going to run the ball, and we could not stop their run. They were more physical than us on the line of scrimmage, and we just couldn't do anything with them. So that part of it is a little more concerning. Obviously, hopefully they bounce back this week, but our quarterback play has to be much better. He looks like the Matt Stafford of Detroit Lions now. So we need to go out and really and stop turning the ball over and doing what we do best.
Yeah, I mean, you said it great. Like when you say that, there's an actual good loss. Like this is after all that talk with OBJ, and now we have all these superstars, and it's Super Bowl or bust, and so that creeps into the locker room, that creeps into a mindset, and so I think this was kind of a good put you back in your place. Like the Titans, I could see that one. The Titans are just really good, even without Derrick Henry. I thought there was going to be a letdown. There hasn't been. I don't think. The offense isn't that great, but the defense is, stepping up. And so they're a good team. So that battle, I'm pushing that aside. This loss, it was definitely, I think and we'll see after this week, we'll see how they come back and how they play. But I feel like this loss was a good little reminder. Hey, listen, it's not you. You still have to go out and play the games. And so I'm intrigued to see what this week looks like. And I think that's going to be a big tell. If they have another letdown game this week, the ball's going to get rolling and it's going to be ugly. But if they come roaring back, I think we'll all just look at it as, this was the reset. and here come the Rams again.
Orlando,
and then I sort of thought at some point OBJ probably shouldn't have played in that game, and I'm not saying that makes a big difference, but sometimes you try to force guys the ball, and he's not familiar with the offense a little bit, but it's national television. They're trying to get the big names out there, get them some exposure, do some things like that. I thought he should have, gave him a week to get acclimated with the playbook, with the quarterback, the timing, all those things. Probably would have helped us out, but we have to take better care of the ball at the end of the day.
When you're seeing big name after big name come in, Orlando, Von Miller, yes, OBJ, yes, or are you sitting there like, this is just not the way to go about your business trying to win a Super Bowl?
Again, this is my thing. So I obviously just being in the league, right? So I feel a certain kind of way about it. Like fans, they get enamored with guys. This is not Von Miller of 5 years ago, right? This isn't Odell Beckham of his rookie year, right? Or whatever, the catch year, or whatever it might be. Guys are on the market or traded for a reason, right? If they were in their prime, no way does Denver let Von Miller go. Cleveland doesn't let Odell Beckham go if he's productive and he's doing what he's supposed to do in Cleveland. So we got to be honest about what we're actually getting. Are they going to help the Rams out? Absolutely. Are they going to be these huge impact players? Probably not. So I think just tempering those expectations, they're great additions, but we still need to temper our expectations about what type of player are we actually getting.
Nick Mangold's in the locker room, and here comes Odell walks in, or Von Miller walks in. What's your reaction in the middle of the season when a guy pops up like that?
I don't think we ever traded for somebody in the middle of the season. So we've never been good enough to have to worry about getting, an added piece. No, but the nice part is for a veteran guy who's been around long enough, like you, like I've met Vaughn and I've met OBJ, and so like it would be able to bring him in, and I assume many of the veterans on the Rams know those guys, and so bringing them in, wouldn't be that big of an issue. And to me, I think it's just to me, looking at it from a team standpoint, like I think you kind of appreciate it that your GM, that your team is willing to go and get other pieces to try to help your team win. So that I think it gives you the positive feedback from, upstairs that, hey, listen, we're going to try to give you every piece that we can to make this possible. You guys just need to go out and do it.
I think part of the reason why they're doing it is because of the parity in the NFL. And let's talk about that, guys. We got 9 teams right now, 9 with plus 1,200 odds to win the Super Bowl. So all in the mix here. Go to winbet.com. You can check it out. The Bills right now are the favorite at plus 550. Then it's the Bucks at plus 600, the Rams plus 700, Cardinals plus 850, along with the Packers. Cowboys are plus 900, Chiefs are plus 1,000, Titans are plus 1,100, and then the Ravens are plus 1,200. So wide open. I think the NFL wants this. Do you guys want parity? Do you like parity? Nick, you want to start?
Yeah, so I like it. I think as a player, you like it because you can say, hey, listen, we are not out of this thing. When teams are running away with it, you look at like some of the years where the Patriots are just dominating the AFC East. Once they're already up to they're 10-0 going in, and you're struggling there at like 4-6 or 5-5, you're like, well, listen, division's gone, so we might as well. Now we're looking at our only hope is wild card, and so like that makes it a little tricky, player wise. Like when it's wide open field, you can say, hey, listen, any given Sunday we can go out, we can beat anybody, and we still have a chance at that thing. So from that standpoint, I like it. As a fan, I love it because like we're seeing just crazy games left and right. I did not see like when talking about the Rams, see them losing last week. It was just like I didn't expect it. And so like that makes it that much more exciting instead of games where you're like, all right, well, we know they're going to win, so we don't even need to pay attention. Or last Thursday night game, the Ravens and the Dolphins. Like I don't think anyone saw that coming. And so now it was a boring game, so it was a struggle to get through it. But it was still neat to see like, hey, listen, anybody can beat anybody. But as a bettor, I've absolutely hated it recently. Like this is just atrocious.
Hey, Nick, you didn't even mention the worst loss of the week. Washington beating Tampa Bay, man. Oh
Right.
my God.
Didn't see that one coming.
I would have lost a lot of money on that game. I'll tell you that much. But I love the parity in the league. Going down the stretch, when you look at in games in November and December, it's going to be great from a fan standpoint. Just watching those games because you don't know who's going to win, who's playing well. Obviously everybody's riding the Tennessee Titans now. You want to see how they do. They could lose 2 or 3 and somebody else could be in the race. So it's exciting as a fan to watch. As a player, I would love it because you don't feel like you're out of it. I've been on some teams where in November and December, you don't have a chance at the playoffs because somebody's jumped out to Nick's point to 10-0 or something. So you just going through the motions, trying not to get hurt, but. Over the last decade, the Patriots have kind of dominated the Super Bowl and wins and all that. So it'll be exciting to see just, a wide open race. Everybody talked about Patrick Mahomes and their dynasty that they were trying to build. That's no more. So just seeing, I love to see 2 new teams in the Super Bowl and trying to win a championship. So I love the parity.
See, I always want New England to lose, but I like having the target out there. Kind of like in the 90s. Like I hated Dallas, but it was fun, trying to shoot at the Cowboys. And, if you go to other sports, like it was, Lakers and Celtics in the 80s, but I thought it was good for the league where now it's kind of, I don't know. I think we say we like parity, but I think we also miss the greatness is what I'm trying to get to, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I would say, yeah, but I mean, it's still there. Like you still look at the Chiefs, you're like, well, if they figure it out, they're going to be great. Like if Tom Brady doesn't have that slip up against the Washington football team, like the Bucs are right up there. So like, I think there's still those teams that, the favorites that you can hate upon. I think what I'm most excited about is the fact that we're down the stretch as we get into late December. There's going to be a lot more meaningful games. Like there's not going to be guys rested. There's not going to be like, hey, listen, we're good. Like we're locked up. Like we can just kind of coast. There's going to be games where it's like, listen, we have to win this game and we're in, or vice versa. Like if we lose this game, we're out. Those type of things. Like it's just, I think that's going to make football at the end of the season that much more exciting as we go into the playoffs.
Fair enough. All right, let's make our picks here, team. And, apologies to our diehards out there. We had a rough week last week. Orlando was 1-2, now 14-14 on the season, still fighting. And Nick is 17.
Still fighting.
Right, exactly right. And Nick is 17-11. Nick, your pick of the week last week was the Packers. Nice job on that. That score 17-0 actually I thought was a little bit closer than it came out to be, even though Seattle could do nothing. And then your win, Orlando, was the Dallas-Atlanta. You had the under on 54.5, which was a very good thing that the Falcons just did not show up because Dallas put up 43. But all right, Nick, you're going to lead us off your Week 11 pick of the week.
All right, pick of the week. So this one was difficult because, like we said, that parity is really struggling with this, and there's some tight lines, there's some big lines that I don't really like. But in the end, I think after being embarrassed on Thursday night TV, the Ravens are going to come roaring back. Ravens versus the Bears, and I'm going to take the Ravens -6.5. I think that they come in. They have the rest from Thursday night. They're going to be feeling good. They have a dirty taste in their mouth, and they're going to wash it out with the Bears.
Orlando, feel free back your one season with Chicago. The Fighting Nagy's out of the bye, man.
Out of the bye, yeah. I don't know. I think it'll be a tough game. I think it'll be a lot closer than everyone thinks. So, but my pick of the week, I'm going with the Cowboys +2.5 over Kansas City. It's a high pressure game. Both offenses are pretty explosive. I think this will, and Kansas City's coming in riding high off of their victory last week. They think they arrived and they fixed their issues. But Dak and that offense, I think, will have a big day, and they'll get a few more stops defensively on Kansas City to win the game outright, personally, I think.
I love that pick. Let's go upset of the week. A lot of candidates out there. Minnesota +2.5 over Green Bay. You got the Colts getting 7 with the Bills. Washington 3.5 on Carolina. You can go another way. Orlando.
Listen, I picked the Detroit Lions a couple times, but I'm gonna pick Detroit Lions over my +10 over my Cleveland Browns. Cleveland look like they're completely out of it based on what they did last week in New England. I think Detroit. It'll be a much closer game than 10. So I'm going with the Detroit Lions, who tied the Pittsburgh Steelers last week. I think they're on their way. Nobody's talking about them, but they're on their way to get their first victory soon here. So I'm going with the Detroit Lions. Upset of the week.
So scared to say Detroit.
The Dan Campbell train. I love it. So for me, I'm looking at the Cardinals and the Seahawks. Cardinals are coming up to the Seahawks. The weather looks to be cold. So they're coming out of the dome. Playing in Seattle is very tricky. It's at the Seahawks are +2.5. I like that. I think they'll be coming off of that loss to Packers. They need a revenge game. Great opportunity to take the guys from the desert and put them in crappy weather and get the win.
For all your gambling needs, wynnbet.com. WinBet gets it done. Over-unders, Nick.
I hate doing this, but I was looking at the numbers, and the Steelers-Chargers, 47 points. I hate doing it, but I'm taking the under. No team has scored more than 20 in their past 3 games, so I think that's going to stay consistent. I'm taking the under 47.
Yep, for me, I'm going Green Bay Packers versus the Minnesota Vikings under 50. Rival game. Both defenses are playing well. I think it'll be a low-scoring game. I think the Packers only scored 17 points last week or whatever, something like that. So I think it'll be a low-scoring game. So I'm going under 50 for the divisional rivalry game. So
I don't know about that. Kirk Cousins gonna put it on the green and gold. Aaron back at practice this week, but that's why you guys get paid the big bucks, gentlemen. Week 11, parity, Cam. The Patriots, a lot going on in the league as always. Good luck with the picks. Let's get hot. Orlando, I'm rooting for you to close the gap, to be honest. I want to see this thing go down to the wire. 17-11 versus 14-14. Thank you so much for watching Big Man Bets. Enjoy the football, and we'll see you for Week 12.